Join Akinloye on CradleRadio. Every weekday and join Akinloye on CradleRadio. Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on CradleRadio.
And you know how it is, right? This is when I say, good morning, this is Canada. Grateful for the gift of life. Always grateful for that. Heaven knows what's happening to my system these days. Hopefully it's not the weather. The weather makes everybody, everywhere, everything rusty, cranky. It all depends on what you are, metal or human. Thank God for the gift of life, for what I've been able to be blessed with. I start my days this way, appreciating my Creator for what He has blessed me with. Things that to some might not mean nothing, but for me it means a whole lot. It means a whole lot. At this set time in the morning hour, I'm just grateful. I mean, every time in the morning, not only in the morning, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for each and every moment of the day. I'm grateful for every little thing that I've been blessed with. Morning, Tolashe. How you doing, darling? Good morning, whichever part of the world you're in right now. How's work? Are you vacationing? Who knows? I'm just always grateful for every time. Because sometimes when it seems like there is no lead, there's always a lead. And every time when I wake up to just, think about, today again, what's gonna be today. And most times when I'm in my zone, I want to come and just give good news. Good news each and every time. I just want to just come around and just give you guys the ish. This is Canada. Is a blessing, release of some sort for me as well. And I'm always grateful for that vision and for all things. Having said that, this morning I wanted to come around with something light, being the last day of the week for me on This is Canada. That's what I wanted to come up with, and hopefully we were just going to have, something easy. That's what I thought. I was looking for even something to just amuse my listener, my viewers. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, let's go light to this morning. All right, where you at? But it seems news always kind of finds me. It looks for me and it finds me. What can I do? What can I say? Good morning if you're just joining us. This is a flagship from CradleRadio that allows you to be a part of happenings around Canada, be it political events, happenings, social cultural events, news elements, headlines, occurrences, economical, in whatever facet of life. If it is happening in Canada, we're going to talk about it on this show. It's a segmented show that allows you to hear happenings around Canada. So if you're a Canadian, if you're friends of Canadians, or if you're a friend of friends of Canadians, or even adversaries, well, you're welcome, man. Because whatever is happening here might just be the thing you're experiencing in your part of the world. That's just the way we're looking at it, and that's just the way we said. It might be, who knows? It might just be. I love this part of the morning, really. I really do. And we'll get to this one right now. If you're watching through this, you probably have seen the headline. All right, let's fine tune this on let's fine tune this on YouTube as well. Now we're streaming in different on different platforms as of this moment. On different platforms as of this moment. And if you're a subscriber of ours, you could also have your say as well by just commenting on whatever topic we're talking about. Whatever topic we're talking about, all right? If you all here, you would have a feel of it, all right? What we're talking about today is something that is peculiar to probably all of Canada. But it's probably going to affect our province out of Canada. We're looking at Bill 2, Quebec's bold health gamble. It's not a topic I want to talk about on a Thursday, but I can't wait. It says, Bill 2, Quebec's bold health gamble. Reform or revolt? Heaven knows. And he ended with a question line. And I'm looking at this in the morning, and in my mind, I'm thinking, what could it be, right? What could this really be? Out of the top of my head, I'm saying, oh my God, here we go again. Another bill? Who knows? Who knows? So I looked at it and I'm saying, well, if it affects things that we've talked about before on This Is Canada, it might be something that might be informative to somebody out there today. Who knows? You might just find it helpful if you're living in that province. Or possibly you could ask questions. You could ask questions from your elected representative. And let's get those guys busy, all right? So I'll say bonjour this morning. Ça va? Et toi? Let's go. All right. My French gets better when I'm in another state of mind. Don't worry about it. The two lingua franca in Canada is English and French. So I'm passive with my French. But nonetheless, what's happening has nothing to do with the language. It has a lot to do with healthcare, as regards Bill 2 this morning. And I'm starting off this way. We'll give you the advantage and disadvantage of this Bill 2 that's been passed by legislature. And we'll see how it goes in this way. We're diving into a major piece of legislation that's stirring up the healthcare world in Quebec. Bill 2, what is it? What it is, beg your pardon, what it aims to do, and why many physicians and healthcare stakeholders are raising alarms. Well, coming up the background, the key provisions and potential advantages and the concerns critics are voicing, all on This Is Canada, because this is Canada, people.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akin Loye on CradleRadio.
All right, where's my fader? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what we're talking about today. Bill 2, coming out of Quebec, legislation that affects the healthcare industry over there. So I'll break it down to you this way. Canada is partition. That's the best way. I'll use best illustration I'll use for it this way. It's partitioned into 10 provinces. All right. So those 10 provinces includes the likes of Ontario, the likes of Quebec, the likes of 10. Off the top of my head now, because time is fast spent, I'm not going to read those ones out for you. It's 10 provinces that makes up all of Canada, Quebec being one of them, you know. So, now we're looking into this, and we're grabbing one thing or the other as regards it. All right. So, on October 25, 2025, the National Assembly of Quebec adopted Bill 2. What is Bill 2? Well, formerly titled An Act Mainly to Establish Collective Responsibility with respect to improvement of access to medical services and to ensure continuity of provisions of those services. It might look a little lengthy, might look a little linguistical in its meaning, if you know what I mean. But this is what it means. Bill 2. It's an act to establish collective responsibility with respect to improvement of access to medical services. And I picked out collective responsibility in there. And also it doesn't end there, to ensure continuity of provisions of those services. I look at that, I read that, and I hear that, and the first thing in my mind is, wow, people doing work. Definition of work done. If that what comes to my mind. The bill was introduced by the provincial government. The sponsor, Christian Dubé, Quebec's Minister of Health. Is it Dubé or Dubé? Christian Dubé. Let's put it that way. I'm not gonna try to sound French today. I ain't French, so we'll just, take it as it is. Well, in short, the government argues the healthcare system in Quebec needs reform, like every other province. Well, come look at Ontario's healthcare system. Oh my God, I gotta sip a tea for that one. Oh wow! I got somebody here today. Look at this, Christian Johnson. All right, thanks for sharing the important information. Okay, here we go. When I said friends of Canada, even relatives of Canada. When I say relatives of Canada, I mean relatives of Canadians from all over the world. They're jumping on this, and they're listening and they're watching. And Christian Johnson is joining us from the UK, London to be precise. Thank you very much for having to be here as well. Taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of this. So now back to Bill 2. This is it right here. So, in short, the government argues that the healthcare system in Quebec needs reform to improve access. Ontario, are you listening? Are you listening? Because it took me 5 years to get myself a medical doctor, having moved from one part of the province to another part of the province. I moved in from Mississauga, moved in Waterloo, and it took me 5 years to get myself. And the advice I had at that time was that I should ditch my family doctor in Mississauga. And I thought, okay, where I'm going is not that populated like Mississauga is. I'm going to get a doctor the next day. It took me 5 years to get that. 5 solid years. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what is really going on? In my mind, I'm thinking, what is really happening? I wanted to know. I was curious about it. Wanting to know is not a bad thing, is it? It's definitely not. So I went all the way, and I just started, going through this. And what came to my mind was just, it was not like it was something different. If you lost us a little bit on CradleRadio, that it was probably a network failure of some sort, but we're back and you can hear me right now. And that's what really, gave me a lot of distraction in there. So The bill was introduced by the provincial government of Quebec. So if you're living in Quebec, or if you know families that are in Quebec, or if you've got friends in Quebec, you better tell them to come listen this morning. All right. Sometimes when friends and family join in on the show, it's always good. You see, Kristen Johnson is my aunt, all right, from the UK. She's so eager to want to be on my show, and I love right there. Lovely, lovely personality, lovely. You know, her heart is full of love. You know, thank you very much for being here. You know, so in a way, and the bill was introduced by the provincial government. You know, in short, government argues that the healthcare system in Quebec needs reform to improve access and to ensure continuity of service. Bill 2 intends to place collective responsibility on physicians. Now, if you're a physician, doctors, nurses, care providers, you know what I'm saying, right? And not only that, you know, physicians. If you fall in the category of physicians, you're the one I'm talking about this one, and medical groups for meeting set targets. You're going to be graded, your target is going to be set, and you're going to meet up to it. That to me doesn't really sound bad, does it? No, it doesn't sound bad. You know, so what does Bill 2 actually do? Here are a few major points of what Bill 2 is meant to do. So if you're all out there having to grudgingly protest what that bill says, I think it's always better for us to get to know what Bill 2 means, you know, what Bill 2 says. If you don't know something, don't join the bandwagon of people who go around holding placards and saying, yeah, this must go. You got to find out what you're protesting over. You know, Bill 2, I'll bring the fader down a little bit and I'll tell you. Bill 2 ties physicians' compensation to performance target. Accountability. I'm loving this. Even if there's going to be a part 2, guys, if there's going to be a part 2, I'm interested in the part 2 of this one. Because it seems sometimes people might not just register with topics that are up for debate and topics that are essential and important to us as Canadians, right? They might not understand that, so we will hammer it on people for people to understand. And don't forget, this is Canada, covers all of Canada. We've talked about the strike in Alberta. We've talked about Saskatchewan. We've talked about in so many provinces, but this morning we're heading to Quebec, and that's why we're here. We talk about everything as it affects Canada, because all of those places build up of what's known as Canada. So, now, what does this Bill 2 do? It ties physicians' compensation to performance targets. For example, a set portion of doctors' pay will depend on meeting benchmark. I don't want to say anything else. I'm about visiting my doctor next week. So I don't want to go I don't want to get a jab for this one. But just look at it. A set portion of the doctor's pay will depend on meeting benchmarks. Then it introduces capitation for family physicians. What does that mean? A fixed sum paid for patients rather than simply fee for service. Well, that needs redefining, really. So you're going to have a fixed sum paid for patients rather than simply fee for service. So if you have a patient, there's a set fixed payment that if you see this patient, it's not just about the service. So that means for now, do they get paid for service rather than for patients? We'll still need to get into that one as well. Now, it also sets targets, such as ensuring 75% of emergency departments patients are seen within 90 minutes. I love that one. I love that one. I'm going to read it out to you one more time. It sets targets such as ensuring 75% of emergency department patients are seen within 90 minutes and 97% of surgeries completed within a year of assessment. Ontario, are you listening? Well, this is elected representative at work. People that you elected into offices, they're at work in Quebec. No, I'm not saying they're not working in Ontario, but you could get a cue from these people. Get a cue from there. Now, it gives the government stronger control over collective negotiations with physicians. The bill was passed unilaterally without what many physicians say was meaningful debate. That's what it says. The law comes into force as scheduled for January 1st, 2026. Now, you got to understand this. In January, a lot is going to happen. You know, God preserve us until then. A lot is going to happen. According to the government's messaging, there's going to be a lot of firing as well. I must tell you that. I'm not a bearer of bad news, but I'm telling you, because a lot of plants are shutting down. There's so many people going to lose their jobs. And what better way to just buffer all of this? You don't want to have not having a job being handy, and then you go to meet your physician and you got to wait 5 hours at the ER. It just compounds the woes. It compounds the woes.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join CradleRadio on CradleRadio.
Now, we're looking at Bill 2 has been the legislation passed in Quebec. Bill 2. Write it down, Google it. We've started defining it. We've already done that. I'm not going to go back on that because of time. But try to find out as it affects you if you're living in Quebec or if you're trying to move to Quebec as well. All right. We need to understand some of these things if we really want to be enlightened like we prefer to be. All right. On the plus side, what will Bill 2 bring about? A greater responsibility, greater accountability, and measurable outcomes. Now, I'll bring this down a bit so we all be on the same page, right? By linking pay to performance, the hope is that the physicians will work towards improved patients' access and shorter wait times. I've been in the ER and I've waited 5 hours and more before I get to be attended to. And I'm not mincing words. I'm telling you the reality. Our ER-ish is a department when I gotta wait over 5 hours for an emergency. Yes, in Canada. And I'm not trying to defame my country. I love my country. This is my country. This is my Canada, as I refer to it as every time. But sometimes when we say all of this, we're not trying to raise an uproar of some sort. We're not trying to do that. What I'm trying to do is try to draw the consciousness of the people in a place of power or authority to do better. That's the whole essence of it. We're not trying to chastise nobody. We're not trying to blame. The blaming game is not my forte at any point in time. What we do is totally different in order to make Canada that first world country, a position that is ready for grabs if only we work towards it. All right, we'll go to the advantages one more time so you can probably see this. So, aside greater accountability and measurable outcomes, it also improves access for patients. If targets are met, example, faster ER access, timely surgeries, patients could experience better, more timely care. This is still for the people. And this is when I say MPs working like they should. I'm going to give them an applause for passing this one out. Enough of waiting. Enough of waiting. I wait 5 hours and 6 hours, and the doctor comes and smiling at me. What the heck are you smiling at, man? I've been waiting 6 hours for my service. What's wrong? And I'm talking about Ontario here. I'm not referring to Quebec. And hopefully somebody in Ontario this morning can borrow from this move. And I'm not saying it's not got its disadvantages as well. We'll get to that in a jiffy, okay? So don't go nowhere. Stay with me. Now, it says incentive to reform system structure. The pressure to meet targets might prompt system-wide improvements, better coordination, more efficient processes, more emphasis on preventive and primary care. Now, we get into this part, cost management. And if you must know health, the health industry gobs a lot of money. Some monies that you can't even imagine, right? Fixed payments, capitation may promote more efficient use of resources and reduce over-reliance on fee-for-service models, which some argue encourage volume over value. Well, these are the government's stated aims to improve access to care, ensure continuity, and modernize compensation and service models. All right. That's that on the part of the advantages of this bill too. Let's look at the disadvantages, will we? And I'll be right back with that one. Don't go nowhere, stay with me.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akin Loye on Cradle Radio.
Well, coincidentally, I got a rush to Quebec this morning, so one way or the other, it's not like I decided to choose that one. I decided to just quickly dash there and set some things in motion. Montreal, all right. I'm going to province. Anyways. So let's look at the disadvantages of this, the criticisms of this Bill 2. From the Quebec legislation this morning on This Is Canada. Don't forget, you can be a part of this by joining our social media handles, and that's how to be a part of this show. We are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, TikTok, on practically all platforms, and you can subscribe to a YouTube channel, like the likes of Christian Johnson, who's, having been heard all the way from the UK. So you could also comment on the show while the show is on live. This is a live show that comes your way from the hours of 10 to 11 in the morning, Mondays through Thursday. And when you come around with that, you could borrow a thing or two, or you could contribute. You could probably lend us from your wealth of experience, possibly in the field that we might be looking at that set time. Who knows? We might just have a genius in that house who might probably just advise us on the best way to go about things and tackle things. So, looking at the disadvantages now, especially from the medical community, shifting responsibility is one of the one that was highlighted without addressing root problems. Many physicians say Bill 2 places the burden on them to meet targets. Yet, major systemic issues like understaffing, burnout, resource shortages are not sufficiently addressed. Okay, politicians, you had better draw your pen and paper right now. Because with what this is saying this morning, it seems there are shortages of physicians all over Canada. As a matter of fact, that's something that everybody knows. Everybody should be aware of. We are missing physicians. Lots and lots of physicians. Physicians are in a high demand. I don't know why, but we got physicians, probably picking up grapes towards the south. On the farms, we got physicians there. I'm not talking up the top of my head. I've seen one before who came in here legally. And that's that for that. Let's go to the disadvantages. So I just borrowed that into understaffing. When you say understaffing, right? When you go around looking like understaffing, are they understaffed? Second one is the morale and exodus risk. Exodus, right? When I hear exodus, if I don't relate to the Bible, I try to jump into Bob Marley's song. Well, that's what Exodus is. Because Bob Marley actually borrowed it from the Bible, biblical statements or readings as well. And the Exodus part of it is what we're going to look at. I just don't know. Sometimes when I'm on this show, I just go like over and over and over, but I don't even know time is fast spent. But nonetheless, we'll still get to the nitty-gritty of this, of the disadvantage of the bill too. The Canadian Medical Association warns the law risk exacerbating the sense of discouragement. Oh my God, when you go with so much grammar, exacerbating. Oh. Anyways, once the law risks exacerbating the sense of discouragement and disengagement, and could push many physicians to retire early or leave Quebec. And that's one major thing that drew my attention to this topic today. Indeed, reports show hundreds of doctors are applying for licenses in other provinces. Already, they're applying. They want to move. Well, the good part about Quebec is that people there, I've realized that, except if you go to them shops, professionals in Quebec mostly are bilingual. But if you're not bilingual, think about it before you move. But most professionals in Quebec are bilingual. They speak English and French fluently, which is something that I find amazing. Me speaking like 5 languages myself. I'm not blowing my own horn, but I'm just saying it's good to have another language set. So, one size fits all target. Critics argue that setting uniform targets, example 90 minutes ER visits, does not adequately account for regional differences, complexity of cases, or structural limitations. That's what it says. That's what it says. I'm looking at all of this. It's a lot to just run through you guys at the same time. Don't want to have a spillover of it, so probably rush it. In as much as I don't want to rush it, but you know what? There's definitely going to be a part 2 of this one. There's a lot up on the note board on this one. There's too many. Oh my God. No. Or possibly, let's see how far we can go, okay? Let's see how far we can go. We're still on the disadvantages of Bill 2. Erosion of negotiations and the autonomy. The bill reduces the role of collective bargaining for physicians, federations in favor of government-mandated terms. Okay? Some specialists say these undermines professional autonomy and trust. And I'll quickly just run down with this one. Hopefully you can catch up with me. And another one is the risk of unintended consequences. For example, if physicians are paid per patient capitation, there may be a risk of avoiding more complex patients or minimizing time per patient to meet volume targets. And patients' care quality could suffer if spread is emphasized over thoroughness. If speed, beg your pardon. Patient quality could suffer if speed is emphasized over thoroughness. And another one is trust and recruitment issues. The bill's unilateral process has been criticized for poor consultation, which may hamper future recruitment and retention of physicians. Now, what this means for patients and system is, for Quebec residents, the implications could be if the system works as intended, shorter wait times, more timely access to primary care, surgeries, and emergency services. That's if it works. If the system struggles, there's a possibility of more physicians' departures, worsening of staff and shortages, potential for rush care, or lesser patients-physicians relationship quality. Another one is regional variation. Rural or remote regions might still face significant barriers. Whether Bill 2 can sufficiently address those remains uncertain. Now, long-term sustainability. The change from fee-for-service to more capitation performance may shift low medicine as practice of how medicine is practiced. It may shift how medicine is practiced, which may require culture shift, training, and adjustments. On a Thursday, people, on a Thursday. I'm trying to run through this as fast as I can, so probably we don't have a spillover of this. And now, you know, it's the CMA say Bill 2 risk pushing many physicians to retire early, and a whole lot of that. Well, Bill 2 represents a bold attempt by the Quebec government to address long-standing issues in the healthcare system, especially access and continuity of service. The intentions are clear: faster care, measurable targets, modernized compensation, but the execution, the timeline, and the consultation process all have drawn intense scrutiny. And for patients, there is hope. For many physicians, there is concern. The next months and years will tell whether Bill 2 will achieve its desired outcomes. We'll see whether it will, or whether unintended consequences will outweigh the benefits. Who knows? And here are some of the questions that we'll keep watching out for. Will the performance-based pay model actually improve care, or simply push patients to meet the numbers, or simply push physicians to meet the numbers rather than focus on qualitative patient care? Will physicians' morale hold up, and will recruitment and retention suffer or improve? Will the target be realistic and tailored towards regional or clinical realities? Or will they become a rigid yardstick that harms flexibility? Will the structured issues, staffing shortages, resource allocation, system capacity be addressed in tandem? And will the burden remain mostly on physicians? And these are many things to watch out for as Bill 2 is going to be effective come the 1st of January, 2026. I love the aspect of having to bring it to you, but the most important part is how you react to it. My name is Akin Lawyer. Coincidentally, this is going to be the last show for this week. It's a Monday through Thursday process. Talk time of the show is 10 to 11 a.m. in the morning Eastern Time. Next Monday is another date. Tomorrow is a Friday. Tomorrow, I say, yeah, that's where I go. Don't forget, join our social media handles on practically all platforms. We are Cradle Radio there. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And you can comment and have a say as regards to what we're having to do or what we're having to talk about on a daily from Monday through Thursday. And it continues. It doesn't stop there. That's why we upload some of those videos so that you can continue that conversation as it went due. My name is Akinloye, and we'll do same come Monday by the special grace of my Creator. I love that aspect of it. I love when it comes into the fore. I love every moment of it as I try in my own little way to shape and to draw attentions to things that needs to be affected or corrected in my Canada. Until then, which is going to be Monday, when we'll bring you another topic. Don't forget, stay safe, be good, and don't do things that's not in accordance to the laws of our great nation, Canada. And guess what? No more transmission resumes on Cradle Radio. Have yourself a wonderful time out, all right? Be blessed, stay safe on the roads, and just be hopeful.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.